Hello everybody and welcome back to Through the Mists, episode 14. If you're watching live, it's been a minute, but that's alright, because we're all here now, and we're going to have some fun today. If you caught the last episode, we ended with the group separated from one another. Lilith and Lyra were down by the dock sector of a city known as Paridon, here in the realms of Dread, Ravenloft. They had talked to a kindly old fisherman who was fishing late in the night, and through some fickle fate that happened because of my dog barking, the kind old fellow Henry ended up catching a very large fish, which Lyra and Lilith are hoping will get rid of this stigma that's on them as far as them bringing bad luck to the people around them in the city. Meanwhile, Twiggy and Dizzy headed up to try and get into the King's Quarters sector of the city, which is kind of where the nobles and ruling, it's not even a ruling class, but like the ruling group of people live. Words are not being my friend today, so I might have a few hiccups. And they were stopped at the closed gate because it was after dark. Taking no gate as a way to stop them, Twiggy tried to fly over and is currently being shot at by several guards as another guard rings an alarm, and Dizzy had very skillfully disappeared into the shadows and is skulking off, trying to find a way over the wall rather than trying to get through the gate. Let's start with Dizzy. So Dizzy, you'd come to a like a very well lit area. It's like a square that has some people mingling. It looks like kind of one of the rare times that you've seen people out after dark, but everything is very well lit and seems nice, but you didn't want to be seen, and so you were skirting the edge of that, and you went back through some of the streets of Blackchapel to go around it. I need you to make a perception check for me.
Oh, right, I forgot that I disabled it.
Disabled? I don't even know what that means.
Well, like I undid the link between Beyond 20 or Beyond and Roll20.
Gotcha. Yeah. What? Just tell me what you rolled.
I got a 7.
A 7. All right. So as you have skirted this well-lit area and you're heading back towards the wall, you hear people talking in that square, and up ahead you notice that the wall is looming just at the end of a darkened street. What do you do?
I want to continue looking for an easy way to get over the wall.
Okay. You reach the wall again, and it heads off to your left or right. Right is heading back towards that square, and left is heading off towards an area you haven't been in yet. So heading left, you continue to keep your eye out. Other than every so often, you noticing somebody in a window as their lamps reveal them, or candles. And a lot of them are being snuffed out as the night progresses. You don't see anyone lurking about or guards walking the outside of the wall. Every so often you do hear guards walking the top of the wall, however. But soon you come to, and actually I'm going to kick over on the map to where you are. You come to this area, there's several dead trees. A couple trees are still living, but they're in this like small copse of branches and trunks of these trees that are, they look like they have been dead for some time. But what you do notice is this area of the wall seems to be fairly unkempt. There are vines, both alive and dead, that are either crawling up the wall or crawling out from the base of the wall. Looking at them, you feel like you could scale this pretty easily.
Okay, I would like to scale it then.
Okay, go ahead and give me an athletics, and you can do so at advantage.
This takes forever to roll.
No worries. While you're rolling, I'm going to let Twiggy know that we're coming to him next. So think about what you're going to do when we get there.
Murder.
Murder.
Okay, 20.
20. Nice. Yeah. Because this isn't just sheer wall like you were trying to get up earlier, you find some it's less footholds, but more you can just pull yourself up on these vines that are kind of growing out of the rock, or rather they're growing up from the base, and they've like managed to really kind of start degrading the rock, and they're starting to like grow into it and such. And you pop up to the top, and you notice immediately that to your right, there is it's kind of to your right, and ahead of you there is a path on top of the wall that heads off towards the gate that you were at, and then to your left is another path. You don't notice any torches close by. Further down you can see what looks like a guard station on top of the wall, and there's some movement down there, but they're like probably 100 feet away or more. But you do notice to the right, and heading off back towards the gate, the alarm is still going. There seems to be a lot of activity on the wall over there. You see several torches moving around. What do you do?
I think I will head along the wall towards the torches to kind of get a feel for what's going on.
Okay. As you head that way, why don't you go ahead and roll a stealth? But what you notice is that there are several guards on top of the wall that are doing something, and what they're doing is going to depend on, because Twiggy's had some time at this point, so we're going to step away after you roll. So you got a 15 on your stealth?
Oh yeah, I managed to add the extension.
Nice.
So.
Perfect. So yeah, you notice that something's going on, but we'll come back to you in just a moment. So Twiggy, you sailed up to try and get their attention and try and go over the wall, or convince them to let you through, because obviously they are not paying attention to the treaty or any of the words that are in the book. And
Clearly not.
Dizzy had sent some dancing lights up around you, which had been distracting the guards from shooting you. However, those have disappeared at this point. Like, as you're hovering there, they blink out. What do you do?
Well, surely I'm not making enough noise. What do you mean they're not making enough noise? We really need to, like, really get the fanfare going to announce our arrival. Clearly this is not good enough. Are there buildings further in?
You do notice that there are buildings further in. This area of the wall has a very wide street, but you notice there are narrower streets not too far in. Maybe 20-30 feet is where things kind of start to thicken up as far as how closely buildings are together. But the closest building to the wall is about 20 feet away on the other side of the wall.
Okay. Well, let's do a little pirouette in the air, a little bow, and then move dash.
Okay.
So we'll go 60 feet. Ideally, building between them and their silly arrows and myself. I'm looking for chimneys that are not producing smoke, windows that are open. So obviously that's an invitation in.
Gotcha.
And yeah, or laundry.
Why don't you go
Hanging laundry.
make a perception check for me?
Do that. There's options. There's many options.
There's so many options.
So many options. Perception, you said.
Yes, please. On a 15, you will see that many of the windows are closed because it is chilly out. Most of the chimneys that you notice do have faint smoke rolling out of them. However, you do notice one house, the window isn't open all the way, but there is a small gap, although almost like it's just letting a little bit of fresh air in. You couldn't fit through the gap, but if you lifted the window, you could sneak through.
I mean, that's kind of against the rules. It's not an invitation if it's not all the way open. Just keep pressing in, I guess. Not
Okay.
going to veer too far away from the wall. I'm still kind of keeping an eye out for Dizzy. And clearly we're going to make enough noise to attract the others, I think. That's usually how this works.
Right.
And, yeah. In the meantime, chimneys, open windows, and laundry.
Okay. And what you also notice with that 15 is there's a small group of people heading down that main causeway, that main road that leads from the gate. It looks like they are dressed similarly to those guards. They're carrying torches. Looks like there are more guards heading towards the alarm.
Good. That means there's less guards wherever else they came from. Excellent. It's all coming together. Yeah, that's what I do.
Perfect. Lyra and Lilith. So you were just finishing up your conversation with Henry, and you were you're climbing down the ladder off of the fishing perch that he was on, when you heard the clanging of a bell, and several people kind of looked off towards the walled section of the city, and were like, what's going on? What is that? Why is the alarm going off?
Do we have any idea that those are our people? Can we kind of suss that out, or have any kind of like indication?
Why don't you make an insight check?
Lyra, make one too.
Absolutely. Or you can help, and one of you can roll at advantage.
Okay. Well, Lyra rolled a 10.
Okay.
And that would be super awesome if I hadn't exited out of everything for some reason. Not sure.
No
Not
worries.
sure.
I'll tell Lyra, I mean, you know that Dizzy and Twiggy had headed off as well. They were going to go look around the local area, which was Blackchapel. The area that the direction of the bell is coming from is more north than where you came from. You came pretty much from the west directly. Is it possible that it could be them? Sure. But do you think it is? And Lilith, you're kind of the same way. Do you think it is? You don't really know what their intentions were other than to look around. So why would they have set off an alarm?
You know what? Alarms are fun. I say we head toward the alarm.
Sure.
'Cause there's no better way to find out what kind of shenanigans is happening in a town
Absolutely.
and go toward
I
it.
was about to say, Lyra's like, well, all the interesting things happen when the alarms go off. So
Totally.
let's go, Lil.
Okay, so you two head off towards the alarm. A couple of the people kind of look at you like, and you hear them muttering like, "Oh, what are they doing? Like, what are they gonna head that direction. You kind of get the feeling like, why would you put yourself in danger like that, whatever's going on? But you head up. Do you want to go through the business district that you had came from, or do you want to head up the dock district until you remember coming in, you feel like there was a more open road rather than kind of making the twists and turns to get to the king's quarters area?
I mean, Lyra would pretty much aim for the straightest shot she could.
Okay.
Right? That's like, like, especially if she's going just by sound, right? Like, she doesn't know the city, so she's just
Totally.
like, shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line, go.
Sure. Lilith, are you good with that?
I'm good with that.
So for the most part, you head towards that large road that heads up to the king's quarters. You can skip through a little bit of you can like make a shortcut through part of the district next to you to speed that up a little. And as you exit out onto that road, you can see several lights. At this point, there are many torches on top of the wall as guards have collected above the gate, and there are several guards on the ground that have torches, and they all seem to be looking for something. In the meantime, Dizzy, you are heading towards the alarm and everything, and soon it goes out, it stops, but you see that several of the guards are now stationed or hanging out on top of the gate. They don't seem to be doing much other than looking around.
Okay.
You feel like you're pretty well hidden from them currently, but if they came back with their torches, you would be pretty well illuminated. What would you like to do?
I want to keep walking towards, like, do I see Twiggy at all, or?
You don't, and you notice that the guards have they're like raising their torches. A couple have lanterns that are the bullseye lanterns, so they kind of have a beam of light, and you can see the beam hitting what looks like houses, very nice houses that are on this side of the district, almost like they're looking for something.
Okay. I guess I can climb down, like, the other side of the wall.
Okay.
And just kind of walk along that.
Sure. Do...
Because they're not inside, right? They're just on the outside.
Correct. You do see there are, so there's several on top. There are the ones that you were talking with earlier that are on the outside of the gate on the ground. And go ahead and make a perception check.
That was the wrong one. Yeah, I rolled. I just saw the purr and then I rolled.
Well, you definitely persuade yourself to crawl down. But before you do,
Oh, that's,
you don't.
that's
Yeah,
pretty bad.
you don't see any sign of Dizzy. Sorry, of Twiggy.
Okay.
I looked at your name and read it off as I was talking. So, so you are heading down. Go ahead and give me an athletics check.
Alright, the athletics should be going through.
Okay. Nice.
Sometimes it takes a sec. Yeah.
So, whereas climbing, you're trying to fight gravity. Climbing up, you're fighting gravity. Going down is much easier. And even though much of what you do is essentially slide down the wall, you're able to control it much easier than just jumping off and falling down and taking some damage. You land pretty silently and without harming yourself.
Okay.
What is your plan then?
I want to walk towards the direction of the gate.
Okay.
To see if I can Because maybe Twiggy managed to get on the inside, and I would hope that he would wait and not wander off.
Gotcha. Go ahead and roll me a stealth, and while you're doing that, I'll explain that you see, or hear rather, many of the guards talking up on top. The ones that were there already, you can hear them. You kind of recognize their voices from shouting at Twiggy. They're explaining to the others that some kind of colorful flying creature. It's not a bird. They're not really sure what it was, but it was talking, and it was yelling something about them not understanding their role in welcoming people and stuff. And so it dawns on you pretty quickly that was Twiggy has managed to get over the gate and into the city. The last time they saw it was in that group of houses over there, and they kind of gesture.
Okay.
Or you do notice they are standing close to the edge of the wall, and so with your dark vision you'll be able to see them gesturing at some houses that are just off to your left. And as you notice that, nice stealth roll by the way, as you're like blending into the shadow there, you notice a large group of guards are heading down the road towards the gate on the inside of the gate. If you were to head towards those houses, then their torchlight would not illuminate you.
Okay. I want to head towards the houses.
Okay.
Like, those are the ones that they said that Twiggy would have been towards, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll head towards that direction.
Okay. Twiggy, as you're flitting around through these houses, they're much larger than the houses in the other districts that you've been around, although like some of the areas that you were in where there were like many essentially like brownstones connected together, some of the houses are bigger than that, some of them are smaller than the entire building, but you're flitting around and you're having a hard time finding an open window. It's probably just too chilly for that, but go ahead and make a perception check.
Too chilly, or are they too scared?
Could be both. Could be both. They might know. They might know what that alarm means. You do notice a chimney that does not appear to be belching forth smoke.
This is a good vantage point. Is it the kind of chimney like those old world chimneys that have like the big, like set of tubes that kind of run along?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna get myself between two of those chutes, vents, tube things.
Sure.
You know, mortals use these things. I don't understand why, but gonna go up there. That gives me a vantage point on the ground below. And just kind of put my hand up against the tube to see if it's hot.
It is not. And as you're like, so you kind of scoot between them, and you're putting them between you and the guards that are on top of the wall.
Yep.
Okay. You do notice that like that spotlight is kind of searching for you, but it doesn't seem like it stretches this far. They might be able to catch like a small glimpse of you if you're not careful, but you feel like you have some cover here in the shadow as well. So yeah, the tube is cold.
Perfect.
Make a, do you have a smell based?
Smell based. I don't think
Perception.
I do.
Okay.
But I don't think I do.
Okay.
No, I don't think I do. No.
Perfect. Yeah, so that's what you notice.
I have magic awareness. But that's circumstantial.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep an eye out though for my companions to see if they have been they have received a better welcoming.
Gotcha. Meanwhile, outside the gate, or heading up the road towards the gate, what are Lilith and Lyra doing?
How far have we gotten in this time? Are we close enough to sort of suss out even like more?
So you can hear shouting, and you can hear, you know, it's in common, but they're you know, they have that like weird accent. So why don't you make a perception check, both of you, if you want to both listen, or you can aid or help one another, and one of you can roll at advantage.
Lyra will help Lilith because as Lilith is kind of listening, Lyra like looks around for anybody who's like nearby who doesn't quite look like a guard.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
Like, aka somebody she could ask like a question to without being judged too harshly.
So you, we'll start with Lilith. Lilith, you do hear, you know, these shouts, and you can manage to kind of piece together that a small, colorful, winged creature has invaded King's Quarter.
Fabulous.
They're starting to realize that there was another person with that creature, and they don't see that person, but they didn't see that person go over the wall with the small winged creature, but they should probably start searching as well. And you notice that the guards that are on the ground outside, 2 of them are staying at the gate, and a couple others have kind of like filtered in from further away, and then it looks like there were 2 that were at a small guardhouse. One of them was ringing the bell and has now stopped. They kind of start spreading out and walking along the wall. They're not like right up against it, but their torchlight does reveal whatever's next to the wall. The ones on top of the wall are starting to, it looks like you can just see from where you are, there are several guards along the top of the wall, and it looks like most of them are keeping an eye out on the back side, so the side away from you, as though they're looking for something that went over the wall. Lyra notices there are people that are like looking out their windows at the edge of the district, but it doesn't look like anyone is like out and about.
Okay. She's not so super keen on like approaching an actual guard, especially in a moment of when they're super alert and they are clearly, at least she, dressed as she is clearly an outsider. She's like, perhaps not. Oh. Yeah, she's just a little
Lilith
disappointed.
wants to let out a fume, and let's cause a little rumbling thunder, but away from where they think Twiggy and Dizzy might be, to pull them away.
Gotcha. Do you want it to be do you want to be like where you are, or do you want to do it like off to the left or right of where you are?
Let's do it off to the left of where we are. So it's obviously not us.
Perfect. So there is this low rumbling sound. Maybe it's thunder. The ground's not shaking, so it's probably not an earthquake, but it definitely has this weird carrying effect as it kind of echoes off of the hollow area that you're in, and the walls bounce it back towards the town. You do notice that the guards that are at the gate and on that side kind of look around, that the other ones are heading off a little further and they don't notice it so much.
Okay. I can still have, what is it? I can have 3 in action, right? The Thumes.
Which one is it?
I think, well, I thought I could have 3 different ones in action.
What's the ability?
Under the Thum, that I can just do it at
I don't
will.
remember. I'll actually
So it
bring
says
up here.
I can do a booming voice.
Right.
I can cause flames to flicker or brighten, cause harmless tremors, and then pick a point of choice and do either thunder, a cry of a raven, or ominous whispers.
Gotcha.
And then, of course, the having doors open and close. So how about we open and close some doors around the other guards?
Gotcha.
Just to...
So there's like a wide, kind of like a green belt between the town and the wall. How far does your ability stretch?
What? 30 feet. 30 feet.
Okay. So yeah, you can reach where you are. There's a couple of buildings over there, and the doors are locked, but you're able to make them rattle, like kind of like somebody's shaking them from the inside. Let me roll something real quick to see if they're...
Yeah, I want to mess with them and see if I can't kind of pull them in a different direction than our buddies.
Yeah, because their passive perception is pretty terrible, so I'm just going to have them roll a perception real quick.
Ah!
Nice. So the guards that have headed off to the right, you do see two of them like glance over at those doors. Oh, I think maybe someone's trying to get in over here. And they head off towards that street.
Okay. Whew.
Are you
I think
going...
Lyra and I should figure out how to save them or get in there.
Okay. Well, while you two, if you want to message on the Discord and come up with a plan, that might be a good option as we go back to Dizzy, who is searching for Twiggy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Go ahead and make a perception check, and you can do it with advantage this time. So you're looking around and you're keeping an eye on these spotlights that are going overhead and illuminating the buildings.
So is there a way to like roll with advantage in D&D Beyond, or do I have to like roll it twice?
I actually don't...
It doesn't push if you roll with advantage with Beyond 20.
Gotcha.
Unfortunately.
Okay. So you said perception with advantage, right?
Yes, please. And I feel like if I log in, I feel like I can see your rolls when you do things. Let me double check that.
Yes, if you're in D&D Beyond, you should be able to see it.
Nice.
There's a game, what's it called? Game log. There's a game log.
Okay. All right, with that 20, you're kind of going slowly through the shadows between these buildings, making sure that no one sees you. And as you were keeping your eye on, you're using the spotlights as kind of help for you to notice. You do see the reflection very faintly of lightly colored blue wings and some, orange reddish fur. It's very slight, and it's actually almost behind what looks like 3 chimneys coming out of a building nearby.
Okay. I would like to head towards that direction.
Okay. Do you want to go on to... so essentially as you approach it, you would be on the opposite side of the building from where what you think is Twiggy is standing on the other side of the chimney, or do you want to stay on that side, or do you want to walk around the back? Excuse me.
I'll walk around the back because
Okay.
I think it'll probably be the sneakiest option.
Okay. And how are you gonna try and get his attention? Or are you gonna try and climb up to him?
Let's see. I will actually I'll use prestidigitation to make, I guess, a shower of sparks appear.
Gotcha. Do you?
And hope. What was it?
So do you want to do it like out of sight of the wall?
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
maybe up by the corner of the roof where he could see
Mm-hmm.
it. Twiggy, go ahead and make a perception check at advantage.
Perceiving at advantage.
And have you been doing anything else besides keeping an eye out for Dizzy?
I mean, I'm definitely keeping a nose to the air for the traditional offering of lobster rolls, and oh wow,
Yeah, nice roll.
yeah, pretty good. I mean, I can't really see a whole lot, beyond kind of diffuse light from the sky or from down below. But I am going through, Feywild real estate contract regulations. I mean, this house seems to be cold, so probably could just take it. But sparkles seem to be way more interesting, as shiny things rule all things.
Right. So as you're keeping an eye out, you see this little group of sparks start to happen, and as they fade away, you look back and you see them as they fade away. Down on the street below, on that side, you can see essentially kind of Kilroy-ish, just like the top of Dizzy's head peering up at you over the edge of the roof. And then the sparks fade away and he's lost again to the darkness.
Just Batman fall down from the roof.
Okay.
Towards the last seen form of Dizzy. Batman fall.
Totally. So as you Batman fall off, and why don't you do a acrobatics or athletics check?
I can do that.
We'll just because you are jumping into the darkness. Who knows how close that street is? Nice. As Dizzy, you watch as he tumbles forth through the darkness, and then at the bottom his wings spread out, and glitter just goes and trails him down as he alights in front of you.
They're gonna have to clean it up later. They won't be able to get it up.
Huh. Well, that was impressive. What do we do now?
Oh, well, I mean, if you're hungry, this place over here, totally open invitation.
As he gestures at it, you look at it and you notice that there are no lights inside. There's no smoke coming out of the chimney, and having been keeping an eye out for Twiggy, you notice that that's a little it's not like the other buildings. The other ones either had lights inside or they had, and all of them had smoke coming out of their chimneys, at least somewhat, because it is so chilly.
You might be right. Let's try to go inside.
You remember passing a door. There's windows on this side, but no door. But you do remember passing a door in the back. There's a small set of wooden stairs that lead up to a very tiny porch that had a door.
Okay, so I'm gonna go to the door and try to open it.
It is locked.
Silently. It's locked?
Yeah.
I don't have any thieves tool, but could I attempt to pick the lock? Or
you could try and like force it, not like kicking it down, but like trying to force the lock open. Why don't you do you could do sleight of hand, or you could just do straight athletics.
I'll go with sleight of hand.
Okay. And as Dizzy's trying to force the door open, Twiggy, what are you doing?
Letting him know that I've got a way in. Don't you worry, I'll let you in. I have an open invitation. We have an open invitation. It's how things work. It's fine. We go back up.
Okay.
Down into the chimney.
Gotcha. So yeah, as Dizzy's trying to open it, like there's a slight rattle to the door, not very loud, as you're trying to essentially just force it open, but it does not open. Twiggy flies up, darts down the chimney. From front to back, there are 3 chimneys. We'll call them 1, 2, and 3. Which do you go down?
Which one is closest to the door?
To the back, that would be 1.
That one.
Okay. So you dart down that one, and it leads to... there's a very faint glow at the bottom. And you go down through the chimney, and it leads into a room that you're pretty sure is not... looks like it's on the 2nd floor. And... make a perception check.
Okay. This is like a perception against the fireball?
No. Actually, no, but... no danger sense here. Is that a 12, I see?
It is a 12.
Okay. There's a... kind of a musty, unpleasant smell as you exit into what looks like a bedroom. Doesn't seem like it's coming from anything in this room. It's very faint, and it's almost like it's coming up from downstairs or something, like when you smell food cooking and it's obviously in a different room, is the sense you get.
They better not have screwed up the lobster rolls. I swear. Like, this is tradition, and so far no one is doing it right. I'll follow my way down to the downstairs.
Okay. Yeah, and the door into this room is open, and you flit out, and there's a staircase that heads down. It's very dark in here, but your eyes have kind of adjusted to the dark, and you're just kind of going slowly as you need to. The downstairs is pretty much shrouded in darkness. There's not really much light in any way, except for some light that's spilling in from torches that are out on the main street, or some kind of street lighting that's out there. So you managed to find your way to are you heading to the door in the back?
Yep.
So you find yourself in a kitchen, and you just barely make out the stove, and it looks like there's a large table that has a chopping block on it, and that smell is pretty horrendous in here.
We're gonna have to fix that, but first we're gonna open the door.
Okay.
That does not smell like lobster rolls.
So as you go over and you lift the lock to open it, Twiggy opens the door, and just this really gross, rotting smell. It's strong, but it isn't as pungent as maybe it could be. Just rolls out from the door.
Alright, I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna close the door and cast Dancing Lights.
Okay. As you walk in, you see this is a kitchen. There's obviously like the utensils and cookware and all of that. There's plates that are stacked on shelves and everything. But you notice there's kind of a mess over by this small dining table. And there is a body like laying there, slumped on, like in a chair but slumped onto the table. There's a plate in front of them that looks like it has something on it. And as you cast your dancing lights and the light reveals this, the person actually seems very dead, but like quite injured as well. You can notice that there's large pieces of flesh that have been like carved off of their body.
Okay. I'm gonna look at Twiggy and say, maybe this is why they didn't show us hospitality. Like, could you see them? Like,
They need to try harder. Like, this is clearly poor performance.
alright, I'm gonna go, I guess, investigate the
Sure.
body and see if, like, I can discern anything from that. Oh, well, I probably.
And on
shouldn't
top of
maybe
that one,
do
give me a medicine check as well. Okay. So you're looking at it, you're not 100% sure, but as you look at what's on the plate and you're looking at this person who ends up being a male human, it's hard to tell age. There's a decomposition that is set in, and it's kind of like progressed to that point where the smell's starting to go away. The liquids of the body have pooled below it and are dried, but the meat that's on the plate, you're not 100% sure, but you have this uncomfortable feeling that is part of what has been removed from this person.
So they were gonna essentially eat themselves.
Yes.
Okay, well, I will tell that to Twiggy. I don't think we wanted to eat what they were serving. I figure we can probably, hang out here and regroup, discuss what we want to do. Maybe wait for the guards to stop looking for us.
Well, first step is getting this kitchen running. And then the next step is eat. And then find where the cellar is, because they probably have beer. Because they did leave it open for us. Here we are. It's time to have festivities. As is written, in the holy text.
As is
Something,
written.
something. As is written,
I feel
something,
like we-
something season.
I feel like we need to get a t-shirt made with Twiggy on it. It's just like, as is written.
Please.
Right? So we're going to step away from Dizzy and Twiggy for a moment. And out on the main road up to the gate, but a little ways away from it, what are Lilith and Lyra doing?
Well, Lilith definitely wants to get in there and see what's going on. I think Lyra's of the same mindset. And we're going to try and create a distraction to be able to get in.
Okay. What kind? So on the left side, you have kind of distracted them with, the rumbling. On the right, you've made it seem like maybe somebody had gotten into one of the buildings over there. Some of the guards continued on and are kind of getting out of your range of vision. You just see their torches dancing in the distance, but there are 2 guards on the ground, and there are what looks like 4 guards on top of the gate that have not moved off.
Well, we're going to go ahead and moonbeam. Not the guards themselves, but so they look away from the gates.
Okay.
So as far as picking a spot,
Actually, I'm going to drop you on the gate map just so you can kind of see the situation.
Yeah.
Give me just a moment. So let's put Lilith and Lyra. And then...
I love Lilith's little skull thing. Like, is it Lilith? I don't know.
I don't know. Can you both see the new map?
it's yes.
Okay.
It's still a mystery.
So I'm gonna move the guards
Who
that are
knows? Not
not
us.
there. Not there. So by the time you get up there, as you're moving closer, you could see that there are guards on the back of the wall looking out. But it looks like the other two have come forward and are essentially talking with the guards that are on the ground. This guy's there, and you're actually further away than this. I'm just going to move you to the edge of the map. You're further away than that, but you can see that that's the situation.
Right. I think Lilith is thinking of Moonbeam over to the left on the actual wall itself,
Okay.
but not the guards, to distract them over here. What do you think, Lyra? Is that a good spot, or would you pick somewhere else?
I
Or should
think
it be a grass area, or should it be on the inside?
to the left is a good idea, but I think it should be like maybe like a little bit closer so that the guards over here also.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like that's Lyra's thinking. It'd be like, okay,
I
pull
think
as
that
many
is
guards as you physically can.
pure brilliance. I'm gonna go ahead and do that.
Okay. Let me just... I believe it is a 5-foot pillar of light. Am I correct?
Yes.
So this glowing pillar of light, very pale moonlight, beams down, and you hear shouts. What is that? They've returned! And you can see these guards both have their weapons drawn and move away from the edge. You don't see the guards that are in the back, but you can hear like the rustle of their armor as they're moving closer.
Is it bright enough for the ground guards to also see?
You can see the one on the left, this one here, glances up. He can see it. The other one can't see it because of the tower, or essentially this area. But as everyone's reacting, they'll move forward. They move out, and they can see it better. They do seem to be looking at it, trying to figure out what's going on. The ones on the ground shift between looking at it and looking around.
Okay, Lyra is going to, if this is even possible, I don't even know, stealthily dash, because she can dash, right? And like stealth right up to the gate and like in the darkness under the cover and like go for the gate.
Okay. Why don't you make a stealth check?
Okay, cool.
Nice. So you're kind of timing it, like it's almost like they're the way they're looking around. It's not quite, like on a timer or anything like that, but they definitely
Like,
seem
like up,
right.
down, up,
and
down.
so right, you kind of skirt around. You go up to the building that's right here, this like guard house, and you skirt around it and you dash for it and you get under so essentially the gate goes under there, or the gate hole.
Yeah.
The gateway goes under there, and you skip into there, and there's no light that's going directly on you. There are torches that are lighting up in front of the gateway, and so you're at the gate. Lilith, what are you doing in the meantime?
Well, Lilith is going to try the same thing, but use her cloak and kind of put it over and just try and ease her way in, because she ultimately is going to try and help force the gate open.
Okay. Go ahead and
While Lyra's
roll.
in there, trying to finagle the lock a little bit, waiting for Lilith.
Gotcha. So there's not really a lock. It's two large iron-bound doors that you don't see a handle for. You don't see a lock. You
Can
get
Lyra,
the
like,
feeling
use her
there's
hands
probably
to, like, see how they're latched together? Like, are they...
Yeah, you get the feeling there's some kind of bar on the other side that's been dropped into like a holder that keeps the gate from being opened. So it seems
Question,
like
is it a solid wooden gate or is it like a barred gate?
it is a wooden gate that has like iron strapping across it. So
Cool. Just
bashing it down would be very difficult. And breaking whatever is holding it on the other side would be very difficult. It seems like the gate can only be opened from the inside, so I feel like Lyra would be pessimistic enough to think of this. It just essentially guards left on this side when the gate closes, if there was an insurrection or something, are just left to their fate.
Yeah. Yeah. Lyra is definitely pessimistic enough to be like, oh, you're cannon fodder.
Right.
Cool.
You just walk out and pat them on the head as you walk away.
Yeah.
Lilith, so if you're sneaking up as well, I need a stealth check. And I believe you are rolling at a disadvantage because of your armor. Is that correct? What kind of armor do you have?
Yep, I've got a lot of armor, so it would be a disadvantage.
But I'm going to give you advantage because of the distraction. So we'll just take the main one, which is an 18. Give me just a sec as I make a rolly. Perfect. The distraction that you have set off is enough. There's enough shouting that covers the slight clinking of your armor, and you join Lyra under the arc of the gateway.
As Lilith gets up to her, Lyra goes, "There's a bar." She's like being very like quiet, right? Like trying not to like actually shout. She's like,
Okay. Oh man. And there's no way Lyra can scale this thing at all?
There isn't an opening. Essentially, they're like two big double doors that seal off the opening.
is there... Okay, and this is a very like, feel free to say no as a DM. It's wood, right? So there's together.
Correct.
And there's a bar. But when it's cold, wood contracts, and sometimes there's gaps in wood. And so is there a gap between the doors where something could possibly get through to lever in?
Right. So I'm just going to throw this out there that you do with your dark vision, you can see that there is a small gap. You might be able to get something like maybe a sword would fit through it, but you're kind of not sure. Like that would kind of undermine the point of the gate if somebody could just come up and do that. But
right.
Maybe it's contracted enough to do so. However, you're not sure. You don't see any signs of light coming from the other side, therefore guards. But
right.
You're pretty sure if you lever it up and it falls, it is going to make a good amount of noise.
Right. Right.
Just
So
throwing
here's
that out
the
there.
thought. Lilith has a crossbow, rope, and a knife. What if Lilith was able to shoot that up over the top and have it hold just enough for Lyra to scurry up the whole darn thing?
Oh,
Kinda
like the
like
wall?
Like a grappling gear type of thing?
So you'd have
We
to
are all Batman.
right? So you'd have to leave the gateway because you can't shoot. Like the gateway is sealed. There's no over it. You'd have to go back
Over here?
out.
They
Yeah,
could come over here.
yeah, totally. You could try it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's try it. Let's
Okay.
try
Cool.
it. So I have to do another stealth then?
Yeah. So both of
get
you
over
do
there?
a stealth on the way out.
Okay. Oh no!
Oh.
Oh my word. Oh my god.
Oh no!
Can Lyra be away from me? Like, could I just be obvious and step on back and just boldly like take
noise?
aim? But the actual rope kind of flings off and people are just looking at me like, what? And I'll be like, what?
Well, so you haven't quite gone over to the point where you're going to do that, but you're heading out, and Lyra manages to sneak out before your armor like rubs. You're like kind of keeping an eye on them to make sure they're not looking at you, and your shoulder pauldron just like clangs against the stone corner of the gateway, and both of the ones on the ground turn and look at you. Halt! Who are you?
Oh my God, I think I saw it up there. Do you see it over there? And I'm gonna take out the crossbow and take aim
Okay.
at some mysterious thing, but also try and take aim for Lyra to scurry up.
Okay. Go ahead and make a persuasion check there.
Oh, gee.
That's some fast thinking.
Right? These guys are so skittery about this creature that flew over the wall. They're like, where? Where is it? Go ahead and do you want to fire off your crossbow?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead and roll an attack with it.
Attack.
It's aiming. You're not attacking something, but you're more like aiming it so that you can try and get the arrow to catch when the nice. Lyra, you do see this crossbow bolt go off, and it's out of the light pretty quickly. You can see the rope that's dangling from it. It carries the rope a little way, but then like the weight of the rope pulls it down pretty quickly. It doesn't look like the guards saw it because their light doesn't reach it, but you could see it with your dark vision, and the rope just kind of like falls, and it's kind of not doing like, it doesn't carry the entire rope up and then lays against the wall, but there's like this arc of rope that's going out, and part of it's laying on the grass and part of it, and then it like swoops up.
So Lyra's like 10 to 15 feet from Lilith, but she's like around the corner, and she's like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. So she can kind of hear what's happening, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so she's gonna wait for Lilith to like fully kind of get these guards' attention, because if they're watching Lilith shoot, like, she sees it and she's like, okay, don't scurry right away. I'm smarter than that.
Okay.
She's a mercenary. She's a rogue. She's like, wait.
Perfect. Yeah, and you hear one of the guards say, did you get it? Did you hit it?
Didn't get it. I saw it over there, and I'm gonna point and like kind of aim the crossbow, but not shoot. And like, do you see it? I saw it over there. And see if I can't get everybody looking completely
The civilians
away.
saw it. The civilians saw it. It's over to the right. Head that way. It's to the east. And you hear some guards. You don't see them, but you hear guards moving up on the top. I don't see it. Where is it? So, Lyra, it sounds like they're interacting with Lilith, but they are also looking in the direction that you're heading. So, what would you like to do?
Okay.
Or that you would be heading. Currently, you're just kind of hiding.
Right. Okay, so Lyra is, so the rope is, I'm assuming, kind of where Lyra is, like right around here.
Hang on, sorry, I have a gigantic sheet opened over it.
That's okay.
Can you ping one more time? Yeah, it's more like one more over, so you would be hiding. You're hiding right around there.
Okay.
They've moved up and are like looking. You can kind of see them just like very faintly, more like a sliver of them, but you feel pretty sure they can't see you because they're humans.
Right.
And humans can't see in the dark.
So this might be a little, you know what, it's Lyra, so it's fine. So Lyra is going to start to climb the rope. However, when she reaches near the edge of the roof of the guardhouse, she's going to kind of push off the wall to kind of go onto the roof of the guardhouse.
Okay, gotcha.
Instead of climbing up over the castle wall.
Gotcha. Why don't you make an acrobatics check?
Okay.
And essentially go over and you take the rope, kind of pull it until you feel
Right.
it becomes taut. And you climb up a bit, and then you kind of push off, and you start swinging. You push off, and your feet land like right on the edge. Like you're balanced, but you land like right on the edge of that roof. It's pretty steep sloped, but you feel pretty stable where you're standing. You
Okay.
are in line of guards. If they come over in this direction, you're close enough that their torchlight would hit you.
Okay. Because when she like lands, she stabilizes herself and she does scurry, like, if possible, like, because, puts on like hands and knees, like, onto the roof and
Yeah.
is like pretty flush.
Gotcha.
Over to, if possible, over to like this corner. So like the guards on the ground, like, hopefully their torchlight wouldn't reach that high on the roof, right?
If you move this way, you'll probably be seen pretty quickly. If you went over here, that's going to give you more cover, but you can like peek over the roof if you're trying to see what's going on.
Okay, yeah. She wants to be like, yeah, like kind of here, because essentially her thought is that if Lilith can get all of the guards somewhere over here, kind of crazy, she wants to jump the 8 to 10 feet from here to here.
Gotcha.
But as unseen as possible. So like, if she's waiting for an opportune moment, she's gonna like wait around that roof corner, right?
Okay.
She's kind of waiting around that roof corner, like.
I think this is a perfect opportunity for another theme. With some murmurs. I think I would like to.
Wait, because Lilith
some
has dark
ominous-
vision too, right?
Currently, yes.
Yes. So Lilith can probably see Lyra scurrying like a little spider or whatever, just like across the roof.
What's your passive perception, Lilith?
Let's see, 15.
Okay. You do get the feeling, because you were kind of like expecting to notice Lyra head up the wall, and you didn't see her do so. And then you catch like a little flash of movement over on top of the guardhouse, and you're like, ah. But as you're doing that, and you look back towards the guards, to your right, as you look at the guards, you see a flash of light, and you look at the gate, and through the gate, you can, like, the very small separations between the wood or whatever, you see the sparkling of torchlight, and you hear a scraping noise as the bar on the other side is lifted, and the gate opens, and several guards are on the other side, including that fellow that you met in the tavern that said that he would be sure to come find you when he had his men under control. What do you do?
Oh my word. I am so grateful that you're here, because I saw whatever it is that's attacking or flying around your facility over here, and I'm going to lift my crossbow again, but do it kind of carelessly, where it's like kind of points at him and other guards, and I lift it up.
Okay.
Like a little, like as if I don't know how to actually use it.
He steps forward and looks at you, and looks up in the direction that you're kind of widely gesturing. I'm very glad to see you as well. I'm glad that you're safe. I've actually been meaning to come find you. I'd like to talk with you and your friends. You might have a benefactor here in the city that would very much like to meet you.
Ah, well, that sounds lovely, but I think my friends are out getting a beer. I was just on a stroll because I really love the moonlight and I love the outdoors. It's just really peaceful. Though some people here in this town are very unkind, which is just ridiculous. You should be kind.
It's true, they can be. Try to forgive them. It's been a very hard lifetime for most of them. And he looks to the others. Go ahead and fan out. We'll see if we can find this flying creature that's causing so much issue. And he turns to you and says, well, why don't we go grab a beer with your friends? Make me an insight check.
Seems like a real bad idea.
You know, they're real rowdy drunks, my friend.
Right? This guy is acting nothing like he did previously. In fact, to the point where a couple of the people that he's like, a couple of his guards kind of like look at one another and shrug, and they're like, whatever, you know, it's not, I'm not this guy. And they go off and begin looking for whatever this creature is. Lyra, you can see this happen, but it's hard to make out exactly what they're saying.
Right.
You do get the gist of the conversation, though.
No, Lyra, yeah, that's fair. Lyra's like 90 feet away.
Yeah.
So.
So what do you do, Lilith?
Well, I mean, considering I know my friends are not having a beverage at all, can I, you know, I think a beverage would be fantastic, though I don't know where everybody is. Like I said, I went on a walk. Can I bring everybody to you? Is there a door or a special knock or something? And also this gate. What's behind the gate?
Oh, this is King's quarters. The gate is closed at night because of all of the violence that tends to happen in the streets, and we're trying to keep everyone safe. I'm glad that nothing has happened to you. You say you don't know where your friends are.
Well, they were gonna go have a beverage, so I don't know what that exactly means.
Could
and
it be
I just
that
said
they-
that I would take a walk.
Could it be that they entered the King's quarters before the gate was closed?
Maybe. Maybe.
Well, why don't you, Actually, while this is going on, Lyra, what are you doing?
Okay, so he told the guards to fan out.
Mm-hmm.
Where did they go?
So essentially, he brought he brought 12 more guards with him,
Okay.
and they have like come through on the other side, except for 4, which stayed on the other side and have like gone out of your line of vision. You can't see them, but it looked like they started walking off into the city, and so that would leave 6. So 3 on each side start to follow the others that have gone off looking for this creature. And essentially they're just walking and spreading out as they go, keeping an eye on the sky, on the ground around them. They don't notice you on the roof.
Okay.
Question, did you let the rope fall, or is it still
No.
there?
She's better than that. She kind of has it like draped over like, you know, the edge of her root. You know what I mean? Like like when she jumped, she kind of like kept it like on herself because there's a bunch of, she didn't want rope hanging down, so she pulled it up to the.
Totally. You do notice that 2 of the guards go between the wall and the building that you're on, and one of them goes around to the south of that building, and then you notice those 2 guards keep walking. They go under the rope. They didn't notice it.
Okay. Cool. So is this region free?
It is not currently. They started heading off, and then that captain fellow showed up.
Oh, like, but up on the wall. Like it's
Right.
free.
Right. So they're kind of like watching over to see what happens.
Cool. Is there a window on the guardhouse? Like on the side that Lyra's on? Like, usually guardhouses might have like a little. I don't know.
You did notice because you were scurrying around that side earlier in the dark. You noticed that there are 2 fairly small windows, but you're not sure. They were closed, and you're not really sure if they are openable or if they're just like that set window.
Okay. Now,
But you can
Lyra's
check.
passive perception is 18.
Mhm.
And you said she kind of got the gist of the conversation?
Yeah, like you get the feeling that the captain that spoke with you all earlier is by the end of that where we were talking, there was like this weird moment where maybe he was inviting Lilith into the city, like into the
Right.
king's quarters.
Right. So Lyra, she kind of like takes a moment to assess herself, and she's like, she would much rather like sneak around in the shadows, but perhaps this is not the time, right? It's everybody's on too high. It's kind of like if anybody's played Assassin's Creed, when the guards are on so high alert, you can't do anything except for just go in, you know. So there's no guards down this corner, right?
Correct. Like
Okay,
one
so
walk
Lyra's
past
gonna-
you, but you can wait until they.
Right. So Lyra's gonna kind of hop down over here,
Okay.
right? Like kind of go to the edge of the roof, silently kind of do that, and come, if she manages to do it unseen, come around the corner. I don't know if you want me to roll a stealth roll first or whatever.
Sure.
Okay. I mean, it's up to you. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. No, that I'd like to see what you get. Okay.
So she'll kind of like hop down a little bit and then come around the corner. And because she kind of like, now did she kind of get the gist that Lilith was like, oh, my friends are out and about, right? Like,
That's what Lilith said, and then
Right.
the captain was like, "Oh, well, maybe they came into the city before the gate was closed."
right. And Lilith was like, maybe, right?
Yeah, that's
But
pretty much where.
Lyra got the gist that Lilith was like, my friends aren't here.
Right.
Okay, so Lyra's gonna kind of saunter around the corner and go, Lil, commotion much? Is this you? You know, kind of like right into it.
There you are.
Oh, one of your friends is
you.
here.
Imagine
What a
that.
coincidence. That's perfect.
But she, like, Lyra's kind of like, I mean, she's a very functional drunk because let's be real, Lyra is a drunk and an alcoholic. She's very functional. So she's kind of like, is this noise all you? You know, like, just kind of like goading Lilith a little bit.
Mhm.
Why don't you and your elf friend follow me, and we'll go look in the city to see if, or in the king's quarter to see if your friends are drinking in there. They wouldn't be able to leave until morning anyway, so they would have to stay at one of the local inns.
So we're pretty certain that they made it in, are we not?
Like, out of character, we're pretty certain that they're inside.
Well, like, if from what they're saying, a brightly colored fairy-like creature flew over the wall. So yeah, you're
Yeah.
pretty sure at least Twiggy's on the other side.
Okay, okay.
They started talking about another elf that was here and then wasn't, and they should
Uh-huh.
also find him, and that's when they started looking outside the wall for the elf. But
Okay.
you aren't sure that Dizzy made it over, but they can't find him, so
Okay.
Look at Lyra, give her kind of an eyebrow raised, a little bit of like a crinkle, like a furrowed brow, and like, should we?
Well, Lyra's supposed to have been off and about not knowing what's going on. So, you know, she doesn't, I'm assuming Lyra isn't aware that the captain is acting weird or anything like that.
you could absolutely do an insight now that you've moved up and he's been talking to Lilith, inviting you both into the city or into the quarter.
Nat 20.
Yeah, this is not how he was acting earlier. Complete
Okay.
reversal of the way he's treating both of you. He hasn't even like looked at your abdomen in
Right.
disdain. So definitely a change.
Well, Lyra thinks it's weird, but at this point, she doesn't really know how else they're going to get inside
Yeah.
at this time of night.
I will also give you with that 21 that the captain is being sincere. They're not like,
Okay.
come behind
Okay,
this
so it's
gate
not
so
like
I
a
can
suspicious,
stab
like-
you.
Come with me, young ladies.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll give you candies and puppies.
Yeah. Okay.
Please
So it
step
is a
into my
sincere,
van.
like- yeah. So it is a sincere, like, get inside now type of thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Lyra will, you know, she kind of, Lyra is, again, a very cynical, pessimistic person. So she kind of,
Oh, what just happened? Lilith.
What?
I know Lyra rolled it last time, so Lilith,
yeah, no, but
roll
let Lilith do it.
any die for me.
Any die.
D9000.
D9000. 5. So, as this conversation is going on, you notice this guard that's off to the left of the gate that was told to go off and look. He was one of the guards that was at the gate when you got here. And he's just kind of standing off to the side, watching the captain speak with you. And, like, at this point, he's, like, flipped the visor of his helmet, and you can see his face. He looks concerned and a little untrusting at what's going on.
Okay, okay. Well, we need our all of our friends together again, so this is a bad idea, but yes, I will follow him through.
Okay.
Lyra follows too.
As you do so, like, you hear this guy start to call out. He's like, Captain, are you sure this is a good idea? The gate is supposed to remain closed. You're not supposed to let anyone. And then you guys, or you all, the three of you, get to the other side, and the captain pushes the gate closed as the other guard moves forward. Captain, I must protest. And the captain kind of gestures to Lilith. Can you help me lift this? And, like, tries to lift the very large wooden beam.
Yep, of course I'll help.
Okay.
I will be
Easily.
right back. Lyra follows Lilith.
Okay, sounds good. Lilith and Lyra, the captain turns and looks at you and looks around and gestures, follow me this way.
I think Lilith and hopefully Lyra will be looking around to try and find any kind of indication where the rest of our party is.
Sure. You do see
every window, everything.
As you look around, there's the walkway that stretches out before you is pretty well lit with torches. It looks like not all of them are lit, almost like they try to make it not so bright this late. And you can see the bobbing of torches down the wall to either side of you as the guards that were sent off to find the intruders are looking around, but you don't see anyone directly around you. You don't see anyone out and about. Every so often you do notice, like, somebody kind of peering through, because it's been loud as they've been shouting, peering through, like, their windows and stuff, and they're wearing very fine robes and stuff, and then they pull their drapes closed. But you don't see any sign of Twiggy or Dizzy.
Because Twiggy and Dizzy know me, I would like to do another theme of the flames, of all of the flames. I'd like them to get a little bit bigger.
Gotcha.
And come back down with a slightly different color, or like a little bit bigger, slightly different color, and then come back down.
So, like, the
in
torches
hopes
that are along the road, those flames?
Yeah, all along the road. And
Sure.
hopefully Twiggy and Dizzy will see that.
Okay.
That's my hope.
Do me a favor and just make a perception check. And I'm going to see if I can roll.
I'm going to do it as casually as possible so hopefully no one thinks I'm the one causing this ruckus.
That's a persuasion check.
Oh, damn.
And Lyra also make a perception check.
Okay. Lyra does have advantage on that.
Much better, Lilith.
Alright, let me roll twice. She does have advantage. Yeah, I'm glad she has advantage.
Right. So both of you, as you're walking along, as Lilith makes the torch nearby flare up, you just happen to glance over, because you're keeping an eye out for your friends, and there's this glitter that's spread out. It's like down this road next to this house that's completely dark, but you see this glitter that's kind of spread out on the ground.
In the Batman
Are there
side.
any torches in front of the house or anything?
There are torches on the street, and it looks like there are lanterns on the house, but all the lanterns are out. Just the torch next to you that you made flare up, which kind of made the glitter sparkle.
Gotcha. All right. I'm gonna nudge Lyra and kind of like look over the glitter so she can see it, hopefully.
Yeah, Lyra sees it too.
Okay, she sees it.
Okay. While I was gone for 45 seconds fixing my thermostat again, then my AC kicked on and started blowing right back on me, and I was like, ah.
This is so cold.
Yeah, it's literally like right
But
there.
it's mood cooling because it's cold here in this
Yeah,
town.
right. Did they have any sort of conversation with the guard that was like, or are they just like walking in silence?
Yeah, so essentially the three of you started heading in, and Lilith is trying to signal to Twiggy and Dizzy by making the torches flare up as you're moving along.
Okay.
So if they see the flare of light, maybe they'll head your direction. But as you, it's not very far in, maybe 3 or 4 houses. You notice that there is some glitter down one of the side streets. It's more like an alley between a couple buildings. You see the reflection as Lilith's flare up reflects off the glitter on the ground.
Okay, when Lyra sees the glitter, she's gonna kind of like reach into like the side pouch of her bag, right? Because she's got her backpack, her bag, and very gently in her hand, there's, you know, half a dozen ball bearings. And kind of like Hansel and Gretel, like just very quietly like drop one.
Gotcha.
And then like 3 or 4 feet later, drop another one.
Gotcha.
Like, you know, and just like starting at the glitter and just kind of like leaving a crumb trail of ball bearing.
Don't eat it. Lilith, what do you do?
Hopefully I notice that she's doing it, so like, okay.
Yeah, with that perception check, you notice that Lyra pulls out a handful of ball bearings and is like dropping them behind you.
Alright. I think I would like to try another Thume in the direction of the house where I think they might be, to see, and this is going to be an open a window and shut the window.
Okay.
Thume. If I can do that.
Odd or even?
Odd.
The windows are locked, but they do rattle like the door did.
Okay.
Let's take a step away from the two of you and your captain friend. And while this has all been going on, like this has taken, several minutes after Twiggy and Dizzy have been in the house. What are the two of you doing?
I'm watching Twiggy because Twiggy said that he wanted to, I guess, get this place up and running and do some stuff. So,
well, the chef clearly did not do a very good job on their cuisine. They're dead. So, we're gonna have to get a new chef, or we have to do it ourselves, or the house will just provide. I'm not really sure what kind of house this is, but it might just create lobster rolls. But in the interest of first making sure that we haven't missed the lobster rolls, they might be in the cabinet, so we'll start inventorying food. Maybe there's like a little store of like potatoes. They have potatoes? They probably don't have potatoes. They eat fish here, right? I don't know. I'm not sure how any of this works. You're a guest in the house, then they feed you, and then you take over the house. That's kind of how it works. I think that's how it works. Is that how that works?
I don't think that's how it works, but maybe it's different in the Feywild.
Pretty sure I live here now. And by proxy, you live here, because, well, he's dead, and did invite us in before we found out they were dead, which means they were probably alive before we were allowed in, which is pretty much contract.
I mean, I suppose we could use this as a base of operations.
But
how are we going to, I guess, tell Lyra and Lilith where we are.
Do you have a way of doing that?
No, I do not.
We could write a letter.
But they don't have an address.
Well, they live here, so we'll just send it to us, and they'll get it, and they'll probably be here in time for dinner.
I don't. Okay. Maybe we should explore this place a little.
Starting with this cabinet. Do we see anything through the window of the Vooms?
Not really, because of where you are. You're back in the kitchen. But as Lyra and Lilith are beginning to walk away from that alley, Lyra, you notice in the back the furthest back window that you can see, as you are starting to angle away from the building, there's a very faint, like you can see a little bit of color in the window, which means that it's light instead of your dark vision, but it's so faint. And about...
How far away is it?
45 feet.
Okay, Lyra's gonna kind of like, by now she's like kind of like dropping things, and she's gonna like switch the ball bearing so she has one and go to like scratch her head and just like throw a ball bearing like at the window, kind of like you ding a window with rocks and just like
roll it as your dagger.
Okay.
Just make an attack. But yeah. Right around this time, or right before this happens, is when the Thoom went off, and Dizzy and Twiggy, you do hear something rattling. It's not in the room you're in. It seems like it's coming from the room that's up closer to the front of the house, which Twiggy came through earlier but couldn't really see, and Dizzy, you haven't checked out yet.
Okay.
Well, let's go there. I mean, clearly we shouldn't be... we should be already having to do repairs on this house. I mean, it's supposed to come to us in good condition. That's how that works.
Lyra,
otherwise we're going to have a chat.
How hard did you throw it? Was it just like a toss, or was it like a...
Yeah, no, it wasn't like a... No, it didn't. I don't think it would break the window.
Okay.
Lyra's dexterous. She's not strong.
Right.
So I think it would just like... the window a little bit.
Even with it being, quite a ways away, you managed to like arc it just enough that as Dizzy and Twiggy are, kind of heading towards that room to investigate, you hear a tink on the window in the kitchen.
Wheel around and go back towards the kitchen.
Okay.
I'm gonna
The most important room.
go into the kitchen and open the window and take a look out.
Like, as you open it and look out, you just see what looks like... I mean, you haven't seen anyone else that looks like any of you in this group. You're pretty sure Lyra just walked past the alley.
Lyra does have pointed ears, so
Right.
I think I will climb out the window and just kind of head towards that direction, but stealthily.
Okay.
Try hiding in the shadows.
Sure. Make a stealth check. And Twiggy, what are you doing?
Maintaining the squatting.
Nice.
I mean, you gotta occupy it for a certain amount of time. There's certain things that have to be done to lay claim, blah blah blah.
So Dizzy, as you open the window and climb out and follow, or head out towards, you're doing so very quietly, and you feel like you're pretty well hidden, but you can hear coming out of the window Twiggy talking about, like, he just keeps continuing the conversation about how the house is technically yours, like the groups, but you can't. You have to make sure that you follow these certain rules, and you get to the edge of the alley. Are you gonna step out, or what do you do?
Let's see. how close am I to Lyra and the crew, I guess?
Lilith and Lyra, are you meandering? Are you trying to slow the captain down, or are you following behind him?
Absolutely trying to slow him down.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so they're
Oh,
only
yeah.
like 20, 25 feet
look at
down
that.
by the time you get there.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna try to get Lyra's attention without getting anyone else's attention.
Okay, you notice that there's a shiny little ball bearing on the ground right by your feet.
Alright, I'll pick it up and I will throw it at Lyra.
'Kay.
Not to hit Lyra, but to kind of go in front
Right.
of her so that she can see that I'm like
Okay.
around.
Go ahead and roll an attack. A ranged attack if you have one.
I don't
I will
think I
say that this is actually easier than it sounds. Out of character twice this weekend, 2 separate friends at work beamed me with a small ice cube from at least 60 feet away.
Nice.
2 separate occasions. So,
Perfect.
you know.
It doesn't go quite as far as you were hoping, but like there's a little like ding as it hits the ground, and Lyra, you notice that.
Okay. I kind of said that. I was like, just in case Dizzy needs advantage. It is a little bit easier than it sounds.
Right.
Okay.
It sounds like
Yeah.
like the dink of something landing was behind you, probably 10 feet.
Right. Lyra kind of like she hears it and she kind of looks over her shoulder a little bit, right? Not like, but she's just kind of like, huh?
Glance,
You know?
right? Dizzy, did you like go back, or are you kind of peeking around?
I'm gonna like gesture for her to come in my direction
Okay.
in the shadows.
Lyra's gonna see because they both have dark vision, obviously, right? So they
Right.
can see each other.
And there
Lyra's
are
gonna go-
torches along this road that are illuminating where he is
Right.
dimly.
So Lyra just like subtly shakes her head and just goes, right? Like you're supposed to be drunk, but like not like what else are you supposed to? She's like, like, and then she'll be like through her like, yeah,
Okay.
and she'll be like, and like point to the captain because it's not just Lyra and Lilith, it's kind of like the captain too.
And Dizzy, you do see a guard. They're not facing you, so it's kind of hard to tell. Although their coat is different than the others you saw earlier, it reminds you of something. You could do an intelligence check to see if it connects.
My intelligence has a -1 modifier.
yeah.
So
It looks different, and there's like this little tickling in your mind that it looks familiar, but not. It's not quite connecting. But Lilith is walking behind this guard. It seems like willingly, and then Lyra is following behind Lilith.
Yeah. Lyra is. Let me please hold. Please hold. Where is? What does she have here? What does she have?
While
She
you're
has
looking, Twiggy,
nothing of
the
the sort.
cabinet that you opened has
Yep.
like jars that are empty. It looks like they had food in them. They've been rinsed out, but some of them are still kind of grimy. Nothing in there otherwise.
I'm going to have to write to their manager. Who's in charge of this court?
What kind of Airbnb is this?
Right? God. Windsor Court was even better than this. Man. Just open every cabinet.
Okay. Lilith, what are you doing?
Well, again, trying to slow the guy down and asking questions.
Okay.
Asking him about the architecture, how long he's been there, what about the court, what do people do for fun here, just
Make
all
a-
the things under the sun.
Can you make a check, or would you like me to roll it for you?
No, I think I can do it.
If you can reach insight, that would be great.
Celeste, do you want to
Nice.
roll it?
Right. Good job,
Oh, she
Celeste.
does. She does.
So
Oh.
you're following behind, and as you're asking these questions, he kind of just like gives you like one or two answers, 1 or 2 word answers. He seems very nervous, like he's keeping his eye out for you all to be seen, and he's kind of like trying to hurry between torches so that you aren't as well illuminated. He definitely is trying to hurry you along.
Lyra is going to stumble with air quotes there. You know,
Gotcha.
you'd think somebody with a +4 dex wouldn't really stumble that
But
easily.
you're drunk.
Yeah, exactly. She's drunk.
Right.
So she's going to stumble. And when she does, she's, you know, she kind of like stumbles. She's like, oh, sorry, my boot. You know, because she wears leather boots,
Right.
you know, and then that are laced. And so she kind of like, you know, bends down. She's like, don't worry. Like, I still see you because there's torches, right? And she kind of like taps her ear to remind him that she has dark vision, right? So don't worry. And, you know, whether he stops or not doesn't matter because she's going to bend down to tie her boot. And I'm assuming they're like cobblestone streets,
Yep,
right?
they are.
As she's tying her boot, she's gonna kind of like take like, she wears like, she has one bracelet and a ring that she wears. Like she's not very jewelry person, but she's gonna kind of like take the edge of her ring and like in the stone, like kind of scratch like INN, like in, like find one, right? Like that's like
Gotcha.
like in. And she does it like very quickly, but just like in the stone, and she kind of like looks like, you know, is here, and she kind of like, does she notice that the guard is like kind of nervous, right?
Go ahead and roll an insight. They're a little ahead of you, and you've been paying attention more to what's going on behind you, but maybe not so much. Yeah.
Not too much, yeah, not too much. But you know, she doesn't like linger too long, like not enough to make it obvious, but you know, she kind of like in and like underlines it. And then she finishes tying her boot and then like jogs to catch up with them.
Okay.
Right. But like assuming Dizzy would see Lyra stumble, and Lyra and Dizzy do kind of know each other decently well, so like at least to me it would be out of character for Lyra to stumble on herself.
So Lilith, as you're following along and trying to like, you know, slow the captain down, you notice that there's another group of guards off in the distance. You can tell, you know, they're carrying torches, and so you can see their armor and their, you know, coats and everything. And as they get closer enough, when they get close enough to recognize, they're still, you know, a couple hundred feet away. The captain you're with stops and then turns towards you, and he's looking around, and he grabs your arm. Do you try and stop him?
Lilith braces and says, very in a low voice, "What are you doing?"
Follow me quickly. We have to get out of sight.
And then she nods.
Okay.
And looks over at Lyra.
He like turns you with his hand like on your arm, but then lets go and starts heading back towards Lyra. And Lyra, he does this like shushing, like he's trying to shush you towards the alley that's nearby, and he passes by you and heads down the alley.
So they backtracked?
Yes. Not far enough to get to Dizzy's alley, the next one up, essentially.
Okay. I mean, Lyra is never one to ignore a shh. She's like, hey, okay. I don't care who I'm with, enemy, friend or foe. She's in the alley.
Okay.
Yeah.
At home in the alleys.
So, Dizzy, you notice that the three of them head down the next alley over, and you can see these guards coming closer. Make a perception check for me. You notice that the guards are looking around, like they're looking for somebody, but otherwise, you can't really see. You definitely have lost sight of Lilith, Lyra, and the guard. What do you do?
I'm gonna go to the spot where Lyra like stumbled and check it out.
Gotcha. You feel like you might be seen. If you could do so quickly enough, you might be able to see it and then get back before you're like obvious. But since the road is in torchlight, there is a chance that you might be seen.
How close is the torch?
So there's like torches that light the entirety of the that main road that goes through this district.
Okay.
So imagine like driving down your main street at night. It's pretty well lit. Although it looks like there are other torches that would be lit earlier in the night that have been put out. So there's a chance you might not be seen, but you would have to be very, very stealthy.
Okay, I'll risk it.
Okay. Roll me a stealth. As you head out, like you get over there and you don't feel like you've been seen yet, and you like look at it and it's NNI. Oh wait, but she was standing this way. It's INN. And then you hear, there's one of them.
Uh-oh.
And you start to hear footsteps speeding up and swords being drawn. What do you do?
I am going to just run into the direction that I saw Lyra heading.
Okay. So rather than running back, you run kind of forward and off to the left, and there is a dark alley, and you notice that there are 3 figures that are running down the alley ahead of you. As torchlight begins to kind of filter in and illuminate the area behind you. What do you do?
I'm gonna keep trying to find Lyra.
Okay. You're pretty sure that's them up ahead of you. With your dark vision, you can make out what looks like Lyra in the back. And you could definitely
Lilith
tell...
is also like 7 feet tall.
Right, so it's essentially like Lyra, Lilith, and then you can't really see much of the guard that was leading them. But every so often you catch a glimpse of another person in front of Lilith. And as they like turn down another alley, do you follow?
Yes. Am I still being pursued by the guards?
Yeah, you could definitely hear there are footsteps running behind you. And as you catch up with them, the guard that Lilith and Lyra have been talking to, you turn around the corner and you realize it's that same guard that you had first met at the tavern that was like, "I'll come back and get you, my pretties."
Right.
He's standing there and he like stops everyone and looks at you, and his face melts away and changes and becomes a different face that looks nothing like that guard whatsoever. This person has like a long thin mustache that goes down into a pointy beard, very like kind of aristocratic. He grows about half a foot. His hair becomes longer and kind of this like flowing black, and he reaches back and he puts it up in a tie. He looks at the 3 of you and he says, "I need your help." And that's where we'll end this week.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
Oh man.
what was that?
Just holy cow.
Holy cow!
Well, Twiggy has a new home.
Right?
It is now.
Uh,
According to
Expect us over for dinner, Twiggy.
Every other week, we're gonna split
Full
this.
dinner.
So every other week will be the dining adventures of Twiggy, and then on the off weeks it'll be through the mists.
Please, Tiny Adventures of Twiggy. Oh my god. I actually just did a very short stream that was like we were all tiny characters. I played a sugar glider. Somebody else did an axolotl. The largest character was a goose.
That's awesome.
Oh my god. The devil
It
goose.
Is
kind of
this
phenomenal.
is this available somewhere?
It is. It is. I'll share it.
You should
and
totally
everything.
send us a link. I'll make sure to send
Yes.
it out as well because that sounds fantastic.
Yeah, it's great.
Any questions
So Tiny
before we go
Adventures
off?
are a thing.
What's that?
Tiny Adventures are a thing.
Nice.
Please, Tiny Adventures of Twiggy.
Nice. Any questions before we end the stream?
Nope.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining us today. It was a great time to be back with all of you players. It's good to see you all and get some D&D in. I missed it. I missed you. So thanks for joining us, and we'll see you, I think, ideally, if everything works out, next Wednesday at 2:30 p.m. Eastern here on Twitch. Good to see you. Bye.
Bye bye.
Hey guys.